everyone, and welcome to the channel. I'm back to break down this 9-game NBA DFS slate on DraftKings. Before we get into it, if you do enjoy the content at any point in this video, if you could please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, I would greatly appreciate that. YouTube continues to tell me that about 60% of my audience is not subscribed, so if that is you, and as I'm going along here, you're enjoying the content, if you could do that, that would be awesome. And if you are getting really serious about playing NBA DFS, I do offer some further in-depth content that I would highly recommend over here on Patreon. You get access to my premium NBA projections, my NBA data sheet, player stats, team stats, play context stats, core plays, injury impact insights, and NBA Discord chat access. Have some members over there that have been doing very good, very profitable on the season using the tools night in and night out. And I think the ones that are really grinding using it, it's paying off. Not to mention, I have put together a package that offers everything that these other big sites offer and more at a much more affordable price. You know, you're not paying $30, $40. You're getting all the stuff these other sites offer, and it's only about $10 a month. So I think it's a really good return on investment opportunity. And excited that I'm offering some value to some guys over there. Glad that people are winning some money. So with that being said, let's go ahead and start breaking down the slate today. First game on the slate, Indiana taking on Boston. This game right now comes in with a 220 over-under with a 3.5-point spread in favor of the Boston Celtics. So decent over-under, I suppose. Not exactly the fastest-paced game, but we do have a few injuries to look at. I mean, not really anything new. We got Marcus Smart continuing to be out. And that's pretty much it. I mean, we've been dealing with that for a while now, so I guess, you know, not any new injury news, but I'd expect Kemba Walker to play in this one at 6'2". He continues to be somewhat underpriced at 6'2" for his upside. I mean, the consistency hasn't really been there. Sometimes he's putting up like mid-20, lower 30 DraftKings points, but he does have the upside. He gets you to 50+, as we saw on the 19th, taking on Atlanta, where he put up 52 DraftKings points. And at 6'2", you know, I wouldn't have an issue with playing him. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown continue to be somewhat priced up, especially Jason Tatum all the way up to 9-3 after putting up a huge dud last time out. Played 32 minutes against the Atlanta Hawks, only put up 19 fantasy points. And I will continue to prioritize Jaylen Brown personally, just based on his price tag discount at 8.6 price tag. You know, these guys have similar upside, and I just think that I'd rather be playing Jaylen Brown at 8.6 than Jason Tatum at 9.3 currently. You know, if we get news like that Kemba Walker's out like we did last time, then things changed, and I want to play Jason Tatum a little more. But even we saw the results last time. Didn't have the biggest game. Domantas Sabonis and Malcolm Brogdon continue to be great plays night in and night out on this Indiana squad with the just heavy dosage of usage that they're receiving. Being relied on very, very heavily in this offense. So at 8-1 and 10-4, do have both of these guys. They have finally priced Domantas Sabonis up to a point where you have to really think about it based upon his matchup. And I will say that you know, Boston's not exactly the best matchup. They do have some pretty good defensive bigs and guys like Daniel Tice, Tristan Thompson. So how much I'm really intrigued to go there on this slate will be determined by other options, but I have a feeling I won't have too much interest in him in this one as we move along here. Houston taking on Toronto. This game comes in with a 220.5 over-under with a 7.5-point spread in favor of the Toronto Raptors. So Toronto expected to win this one fairly easily. Christian Wood continues to be out on the Houston side. It does look as if Victor Oladipo will be back, so going to cut into John Wall's usage a little bit, but he will have another, you know, big responsibility in this offense as last time, playing 32 minutes, putting up 36 DraftKings points, and I do think that he could keep it going as far as, you know, his upside at that 7.4 price tag. That's too cheap for Victor Oladipo in the role that he's expected to take on with his team. So I do have interest in him. John Wall 8.2 you could have interest in as well. Just obviously his price tag is factored in a little bit more up to 8.2. Not quite as appealing at that price. And then you're looking to some of these other guys like an Eric Gordon, like a Jayshawn Tate. There is no more DeMarcus Cousins, so these guys are going to have to fill in more and more minutes. And I do think that we can take advantage of some of these price tags before they become too priced up. Like a Jayshawn Tate's 5'9" right now, I could see him getting priced up to like the high 6K range at some point if he's really starting to perform consistently night in and night out. And then you got Daniel House Jr., David Nwaba. And honestly, that's kind of where my interest fades off. I would have interest in playing House and David Nwaba. And then these other guys, not really. I mean, Sterling Brown, PJ Tucker's just a terrible fantasy point per minute producer. He's the quote-unquote center right now for this Houston squad. Playing 31 minutes and putting up 14, 10, 4, and 10 DraftKings points. So that's just dreadful. I mean, it's almost hard to imagine how you could only put up that amount of fantasy points when you're on the court for 30 minutes, but he finds a way to do it, so would not be playing him. Then you got Toronto. Everyone's healthy now. Kyle Lowry had been out for a few games. I do think that's going to affect Norman Powell. I would be prioritizing Kyle Lowry over Norman Powell pretty heavily. Not that Norman Powell's a terrible play now, but he is priced up to 6'4". You know, last time, perfect example, he put up 43 DraftKings points the time before, then last time out with Kyle Lowry back, was only able to put up 24 DraftKings points. So, I think you get the point. I think that's going to really affect him. Pascal Siakam and Fred VanVleet, not so much. Both these guys you can still be looking to on this team, and that's where my interest kind of drops off. The only thing I would say, actually, though, is I would be interested in playing some OG Anunoby in tournaments at 5'5". This guy's upside. I'm waiting for a breakout game out of him. Last time I'm putting up 36 minutes, the most he has since he returned from injury. And I do think he's an interesting tournament play, taking on this Houston team that's not too good defensively. So Phoenix taking on Chicago. This game has a 228.5 over-under with a 5.5 point spread in favor of the Phoenix Suns. So the second highest total on the slate, definitely one that we can target. Specifically, who we're looking to go to in this one, we got Zach LaVine and Kobe White on the Chicago side, priced up for a reason. Both these guys, a lot of on-ball handling duties, a lot of upside to be had. Kobe White, I would prefer at his price tag at only 6'4", playing, mid-30s minutes a game, putting up 32, 45, 35 DraftKings points. I do think that he has plenty of upside to offer at that price tag. Zach LaVine, still a good play, but priced up way past Kobe White, and I think Kobe White literally could put up the same, fantasy point production in a given game. So Chris Paul and Devin Booker, both great plays. I would prefer Chris Paul at his 7.5 price tag, get a little bit of a discount off the 8K price tag of Devin Booker, and I think that Chris Paul literally probably has more upside because of the natural on-ball handling duties that he has and kind of taking away from Devin Booker. And then I will really like DeAndre Ayton in this one. I continue to target the Chicago front court. I think that their front court defense is very bad. Guys like Wendell Carter Jr. I mean, Thad Young's a pretty good defender, but I still just have had some very good success targeting this front court. And I really, really like Wendell Carter Jr. as well because DeAndre Ayton's not good on defense. Something I've been seeming to say a lot and or doing a lot is this season is playing DeAndre Ayton and whoever his counterpart is because they're both bad defensively. It just seems to be a recipe for success. So keep an eye on that one. And then as far as anyone else in this game, I'm not really looking to play anyone. I mean, you can play a Thad Young, you can play a Mikal Bridges, but I think their upside's somewhat capped at the price tags now. Mikal Bridges, Jay Crowder's come back. His minutes are staying consistent, but I think his usage and rebounding opportunities and just all the kind of loose ball stats he was occurring are going to be somewhat limited. So Sacramento taking on Detroit. This game comes in with a 224 over-under with a 1-point spread in favor of the Sacramento Kings. So fairly decently paced game. Both teams pretty bad defensively, honestly, so I do think there's plenty of interest to be had. DeLon Wright continuing to be out. I do think that Josh Jackson and Sadiq Bey are going to continue to be good options. It does look like Sadiq Bey is listed as questionable, which would just give an even more usage bump to Josh Jackson at 6'4". As far as the latest update, he is a true questionable, so yeah, I mean, if he's out, Josh Jackson and Jeremiah Grant just become absolute smash plays. They're already good plays as is. So I would be taking a hard look to these guys. Jeremiah Grant and Josh Jackson both make a lot of sense, and Mason Plumlee. I mean, these main three guys on the Detroit side are going to offer you tons of upside at their price tags for sure, mid 6K range. I mean, Jeremiah Grant barely priced over 7K. I like those guys a lot. And then Dennis Smith Jr. at 4'6" continues to be somewhat, limited. He played mid 20 minutes though, so he's starting to really catch my eye. And then you got Saban Lee at 4'3", who's consistently been playing big minutes. He got cut down to 22 last time. It looks like Dennis Smith Jr. might be taking over the role there. Both these guys are intriguing plays. Gonna have to keep an eye on how they're breaking down these minutes. Svi Mikhailuk and Wayne Ellington priced at 3.4 and 3.3 are also some interesting plays, and we saw Sekou Doumbouya get a start at 3.2, but played 23 minutes, so all intriguing value plays. I mean, probably only a couple of them are going to get you there and or maybe one, but Dennis Smith Jr., a guy I definitely keep your eye on, and I think we could play him in this one. And then as far as the rest of the guys on the Sacramento side, I mean, it's De'Aaron Fox at the top. He's priced up for good reason. He's a priority. And then Halliburton continues to be kind of the second guy, but he's kind of taken over the role of second fiddle over Buddy Hield. So I would play Halliburton over Buddy Hield at this point. And then Rashawn Holmes, Marvin Bagley will continue to be great plays, especially if Hassan Whiteside's out, because then we get solidified minutes for those guys. If Hassan Whiteside's back, I'm going to have less interest in those guys, so just keep an eye on that one. Los Angeles Clippers take it on the Memphis Grizzlies. This game comes in right now with a 226.5 over-under with a 6.5 point spread in favor of the Los Angeles Clippers. Somewhat decent paced game. We just saw this game, I believe. So it's one of those classic back-to-backs in this COVID season. Same opponent. The Clippers absolutely blew them out last time. Whether they do that again is going to affect who we're playing. I would prefer Paul George over Kawhi Leonard. Same thing I said previous time out. I just think that I do prefer targeting Paul George in games that I expect to be not as competitive as taking on like a NBA title contender. So I will continue to play Paul George. Anyone else on the Los Angeles Clippers, I'm just honestly not that interested in. They're filtering all these guys in the rotation, just too much. And then the same thing applies on the Memphis side. They're starting to get back healthy, filtering all these guys in the rotation. So I'm really looking at Ja Morant and Jonas Valanciunas. Anyone outside of that is really just a tournament dart, and I don't really think that it makes all too much sense because, I mean, Brandon Clark, Kyle Anderson, Dillon Brooks, all these guys. My favorite would probably be Dillon Brooks at 5'2", just strictly based on price tag and his ability to shoot the 3-ball. But other than that, you're kind of getting cute if you're trying to dig through that mess. Jimmy Butler at 9-4. This game comes in with a 217.5 over-under with a 7-point spread in favor of the Utah Jazz. Very slow-paced game, kind of ugly. Utah is expected to win it fairly easily. So Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero are both listed as questionable. So that's an interesting spin on things, and that might be a big reason why the line is so heavy. The only thing I would say is, Goran Dragic, Duncan Robinson, Kendrick Nunn, all these guys will get definitely more run and usage if there is no Tyler Hero. Kelly Olynyk at 4'6" could be a very intriguing play on the Miami side if there's no Bam Adebayo. He's really good at shooting the 3-ball, very good DK point per minute producer, so he becomes very intriguing. And then Jimmy Butler would really become an interesting play because if this game's able to stay close, it's going to be on the shoulders of him. It's going to be all him. Last time out, putting up 62 DraftKings points. This guy's really been good, and he's still only priced in the mid-9K range. So, I mean, if there's some injuries on this Miami team, like there's expected that there could be, I wouldn't be surprised to see his price tag up towards like 10K next game because I think he'll have a big game tonight. So, definitely looking at him. The Utah side, I'm not as interested in. Mike Conley came back. A lot of these guys came back. We were getting like Joe Ingles minutes. Now we're getting Mike Conley minutes. He's probably the one I'm interested in the most out of everyone. Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert, I think that Mike Conley being back is really affecting their upside, so I'm not looking to go there. I do like Mike Conley at 6'1", and I do like Jordan Clarkson as a 6-man at 5'8", and those would be the only two guys I'm really looking to play in this game, just based on the upside they could provide you at those price tags. And that's really it. Moving further along, Atlanta taking on Oklahoma City. This game right now comes in with a 224 over-under with a 4-point spread in favor of the Atlanta Hawks. So, fairly decent game as far as pace is concerned. 224 over-under, 4-point spread. Expect to stay close. Trae Young continues to play very well at this 9.9 price tag, putting up 51 DraftKings points last time against Boston, and probably would have put up 60+ if that game didn't turn into a blowout. So, Trae Young looking very, very good recently. He really kind of sucked to start the season, and it was like, what's going on here? But he's turned it on recently. He's really turning a corner, and I think that the old Trae Young's back. Al Horford is listed as out in this one. DeAndre Hunter continues to be out. Cam Reddish is listed as questionable. If he continues to be out, Kevin Huerter is a priority. He already kind of is. He's forced into a lot of minutes and usage on the wing at 5'2". Been playing a lot of him. And then Danilo Gallinari at 5K finally got up to 30+ minutes last time out. Absolutely on fire. Shot 10 for 12 from behind the arc. Put up 55 DraftKings points. So you'll love to see that. And now he gets a quote-unquote revenge game taking on his former team. Whether he's really all that vengeful, I don't know. But Isaiah Roby at 4'9" is going to be a great play. There is no Al Horford. I would really like him at 4'9". And then Mike Muscala at 3'6". taking on his former team in the Atlanta Hawks. I do think that's actually kind of a valid narrative to be, riding as far as playing some Mike Muscala, and I just like his game overall and his fantasy point upside. There is no Diallo, so you're looking at guys like Maladon at 4.5, Lou Dort at 4.8 as well. All of these guys become pretty intriguing value plays, and then not to mention Darius Bazley is going to get a big bump up in usage and rebound upside as well, so he really becomes a priority at 5.2. And lastly, Shea Gill, Alexander, the guy that's in charge of the whole team at 8.8, put up 51, 40, and 61 DraftKings points the last 3 times out. I really do like him at 8.8, taking on this Atlanta squad and taking on the defense of Trae Young does not scare me whatsoever. So he makes a ton of sense for sure. And lastly, Clint Capella at 7.8. There is no big man in Al Horford, so the defense should be a lot easier. He makes a lot of sense to me at 7.8. Charlotte taking on Golden State. This game comes in with a 232 over-under with a 6.5 point spread in favor of the Golden State Warriors. Expected to be the highest scoring game on the slate. Some good options to talk about in this one. Devontae Graham continues to be out. We're going to continue to really like Stephen Curry on the Golden State side. The point guard duties, very good three-point shooter. Not too worried about the Charlotte defense, and I think his upside is massive, as well as LaMelo Ball on the other side at 8.7. Same rule applies to him. Both these guys I could see really going at it in this one. I'm sure LaMelo coming up in the league, inspired by Stephen Curry's game, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him, really turn it up. And then you got Terry Rozier at 8.4. Who continues to be priced up even though he has been absolutely terrible the last 2 games. He's only put up 19 and 25 DraftKings points, and he's all the way up to 8.4. So that makes no sense to me. But that might not make any sense to a lot of people, and you might get him lower owned than you should because overall he's been very, very good on the season. So I'm not saying not to play him. It's just like, why is his price tag going up when all he's been doing is terrible? But Draymond Green, Kelly Oubre, 6'9", 6'8". Continue to both be great plays. Draymond Green getting around like 50 DraftKings points a game. Gets to take on a Charlotte front court that does not scare me at all. So Draymond makes a lot of sense, honestly, at 6'9", playing like upper 30 minutes a game. Consistently getting you pretty much a triple-double. I mean, last time out, he missed a triple-double by 1 rebound. The time before, he missed a triple-double by 3 points and 1 rebound. So really putting on a show recently with these Golden State Warriors, really taking over, and he makes a lot of sense. And then you got Gordon Hayward and Andrew Wiggins. Both these teams very solidified rotation. So Gordon Hayward at 6'7" makes a ton of sense to me, and same thing with Andrew Wiggins at 6'2". These guys getting a lot of minutes and aren't priced up like these other options. But the top tiers here, like 6'7" to 9'7" in this game, make a ton of sense. When you start to get down past that, it's like, I'm not all too interested. There's kind of just guys being blended in the rotation. You got PJ Washington, Malik Monk, Miles Bridges, all these guys. You can throw in tournaments for sure. Like, I'm not telling you not to play them, just they're not quite as solidified in minutes, and they're a little more on the riskier side. So great tournament plays in a fast up-tempo game. Not really looking to play them in like a cash game setting. Last game on the slate, Portland taking on the Los Angeles Lakers. This game comes in with a 222.5 over-under with a 5-point spread in favor of the Los Angeles Lakers. LeBron James listed as questionable. Kyle Kuzma listed as questionable. Dennis Schroeder listed as questionable. I would expect LeBron James to be in, as he's always listed as questionable, so he should be good to go. Kyle Kuzma listed as questionable. He should be good to go. Kind of listed as probable. And then Dennis Schroeder, the last guy, he is probable as well. So expect this Lakers squad to be back to a full, healthy team. There continues to be no Anthony Davis, so I'm going to continue to really like LeBron James at his 10.7 price tag, especially taking on this Portland team who's very bad defensively. I think LeBron could have a big game here. Damian Lillard at 10-1 going into LA, his hometown. He likes to perform in LA, so I always like playing Dame in LA, so take that for what it's worth, but he's also getting a bunch of usage with no CJ McCollum. Kyle Kuzma, Montrezl Harrell continue to make a lot of sense with no Anthony Davis as well. Both these guys can have a huge game on any given night, especially Montrezl Harrell. Really liking him recently. Now, he only put up 25 DraftKings points last time out, but that was an absolute blowout taking on that Utah squad, so I wouldn't put too much thought into that one. And then you're looking at Robert Covington at 6K, Gary Trent Jr. at 5'7" on the Portland side. Both these guys getting lots of minutes, lots of opportunity recently, so they both make some sense. But yeah, that's pretty much my overall breakdown there. Those are the guys I'll be looking to the last game, and that is my overall breakdown of this 9-game slate. Before I let you guys go, I got to give you my lock of the night. Let's get into it. And my lock of the night tonight is going to be Shea Gill-Alexander for this Oklahoma City squad. As mentioned, there is no Al Horford. I expect him to have a huge bump in usage in this one. Just overall, he's been playing tons of minutes, upper 30 minutes. He's still only priced in the 8K range. I think we could see him priced up into the 9K range very soon. And he gets to take on the defense of Trae Young, who does not intimidate me at all. Not to mention the Atlanta defense overall is just terrible. So I don't expect them to have good help side. I expect Trae Young to really struggle defending this guy. Even if they throw someone else on him, I don't think they're going to slow him down. So I absolutely love Shea Gill-Alexander tonight. And he is my lock of the night. So there you have it, guys. Shea Gill-Alexander. Get him in your lineups. And that is all from me in this one. If you did enjoy the content, if you could please leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, I would greatly appreciate that. I'll be here all NBA DFS season long, breaking down these slates to help you guys become better NBA players. And check out my Patreon package if you're getting real serious about NBA DFS, link below in the description. I think that can really help you in winning some money this NBA season. Wish you all the best of luck tonight, and we will see you in the next one.